Hello there, it's Mick Box of Uriah Heep, and you're listening to Stalwarts of Music.
Hi
Okay,
Mick, Namaste. Welcome to Stalwarts of Music with Aditya Veera Season 4. It is indeed such an honor to have you on the show, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you very much, mate. Yeah, as busy as ever.
Which part of the world are you in? Keeping yourself
I'm
busy.
actually in London at the moment. I've just come back from Chicago.
Uh-huh.
I'm in London at the moment, and before that, we was out in South America where we did Uruguay, Chile, Peru, and Brazil,
Uh-huh.
and I think it was 8 shows in 10 days in four different countries. So,
Wow.
and it took us 30 hours to get back home, but
My
we
goodness.
survived that, and we continue on, my friend.
That's great. That's great. And what does your itinerary look like today?
Sorry, what is the?
What does your schedule look like today?
Oh, it's always packed. So I'm going to play guitar. I'm
Mm-hmm.
writing some solos for some people. I'm writing a book, so I'm
Wow.
trying to put that in order, an autobiography. So many things, my friend. Yeah, it never
You have a
stops.
lot. You have a lot going on indeed.
Yes, yeah,
Amazing. So I'd like to start this discussion with a mix of ideas. So the first one being, Mick, can you speak to how your wah technique evolved to become part of your vocal guitar identity, particularly in tracks like "Hail the Sunrise" or "Sweet Lorraine"?
You mean the one wheel guitar?
Yes.
Is that what you? Yeah,
Yes.
well, that came about when I first heard the Jeff Beck group back in I think in 1969 with the album Truth.
Mm,
And he used wah wah on
okay.
that particular album, and he just made the guitar speak, and that really resonated with me. So I ran out and bought my first wah wah, which was a Jim Dunlop Crybaby,
Mm-hmm.
and started working with it. And then over time, with because the actual use of a wah, it goes wah 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 wah, but I don't use it like that. I use it almost as a tone bender,
Mm,
so that when I bending the note up, I bring the foot down. And it's kind of that sort of, which gives me that intermediate tone of the wah wah,
mm-hmm.
but also an identifiable sound of mine. So that's how that develops over time. And when you think about it, I got the hammered organ over here, which is loud and loud and loud. And you've got a bass player over there that's loud and loud and loud. And you've got double bass drums over here, loud and loud, taking all that bottom end up. And I need to find a way to cut through. And with the wah wah, I can cut through with solos, and it's very effective.
It is very effective and very eclectic indeed when one listens to
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Oh, that's great news.
yeah. Well, Mick, in terms of being one of the very few guitarists to build harmony alongside a dominant Hammond organ that you spoke of right now, how did you
Yeah.
learn to balance density and space, especially during the Hensley era, where their intentional chordal voicings or frequency carvings that you developed for that unique blend that we hear?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is register based. If he's down here, I'll be up here, and then you get that whole spectrum of
Yeah,
the chord that you're playing. So we kind of and we did it naturally. It wasn't anything we thought about or we sat down any technical discussions about. It was just something we did naturally, and so that's how that kind of developed, really. If he was down here, I'll be up here, and vice versa. But we did it as a natural thing. It was a natural ear thing that we fell into that.
Mm, mm, mm. Well,
And then when we did, so excuse me, but when we did join up at the lower end, then that whole power came through. It was earth-shattering power that
totally,
gets you in the heart.
totally. It's like the roaring of a lion.
Yes, yeah,
I
absolutely.
know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've described capturing ideas in spontaneous moments, right? So, what makes a riff or lick pass your internal washing up test, the Mick box washing up test, right? So, how do you distinguish between a strong live idea versus a studio keeper? in terms of this particular idea that I
I
mentioned.
think,
Yeah.
well, generally when you record in the studio, I mean, the most important thing for me as the guitarist and as the soloist is that the song is the king.
Mm,
And you play to the song. You don't. I hear so many songs where the guitarist sounds like he's just learned these licks and he wants to play them and show everybody what he's doing. That's all wrong to me. It has to be an extension of the song. It has to take it somewhere else and then come back in a very natural way. Also, a solo has to have, for me, a beginning, a really good middle, and an end. It
mm,
shouldn't just drift off or dribble off.
yeah.
And so I take these things very seriously, and so in the studio, I just develop about 4 or 5 ideas, and I sit down with the producer, and one of them will click, or two or three of them will click, and then we'll develop it from there. But it's always best to have a number of ideas so you can pick and choose. Now, when you take it out on the road, I think a lot of people in certain solos expect to hear that solo,
Mm,
verbatim. So I try and stick within the confines of that. But occasionally, like we've got certain songs like "Look at Yourself" and "Magician's Birthday," where it's pretty freeform, and
mm.
then I can let loose, and the band just follow me, and that's great, because then you're just creating excitement as you go along, and the whole band is with you on one pulse.
Hmm. Well, yeah, I agree with you. Someone has to sort of take the leadership in terms of driving the entire engine forward, and you do it seamlessly well.
Well, thank you very much. We try our best, mate.
Mm, 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 mm. Right. So, in terms of another idea that I wanted to talk to you about was, do you consciously assign sonic or narrative roles to instruments in the writing phase of when an album or a song is coming up? For example, letting Lanzon's keyboard carry the harmonic verticality while your guitar deals with horizontal phrasing, right? So, how collaborative is that dynamic today in modern day context of the band?
Well, for us, dynamics is very, very important, and we have with this particular lineup would be a good example, as we did back in the old days with the old lineup. I mean, we read each other very well.
Hmm.
And so if I'm going a little bit this way, that everyone will go with me, and vice versa, And
Yeah.
if Phil's going a bit, then we'll go with him, because it's very important that you have the open ear for those things to happen, and that's what makes live music exciting. Um, those things can happen. And harmonically, to us, it works very, very well because of that us being so in tune with each other. So as I say, I could be playing a guitar part, and Phil would be playing a really supportive keyboard part rather
Hmm.
than just a layer of music. And that's where I think that's where it becomes heap.
Well, of course, the camaraderie and that chemistry has been established over the years of all of you staying together as a closely knit unit. Was longevity ever part of the discussion? Do you have such discussions with the band?
No, we never think we never look at longevity. We're just happy we're still here doing it and enjoying it, And I think that the word here is passion. If you've got a passion for something, you can override a lot of things that are in your way. That like nowadays, it's very difficult to travel everywhere. I mean, I think it was quite a while ago, but we had about 11 flights and five of them were cancelled. So
Hmm.
it's getting harder and harder out there to actually get to where you want to be to perform. And and with a number of things happening with COVID and Brexit and things over here, the whole template of touring has changed in
Hmm.
Europe
Hmm.
drastically. and for the worse, I might add. So, but but as long as you've got the passion, you'll always come through all those things.
Passion can break any number of barriers, if I
Well,
get that.
and music and the power of music, my friend, because the power of music gets through everywhere.
Yeah,
Even with countries that had communist regimes where they banned it, it still managed to get through because music is life and life is music, and it will always get through.
totally. Totally. The show will keep going on no matter what.
Oh yes.
Well, there's been a multi-decade career, in terms of your body of work across so many different albums. What has changed most in how you conceptualize a song? Let's get a little technical here. Has your sense of musical narrative deepened, simplified, or has it become more intuitive over time? Walk me through those elements, Mick.
I think intuitive is the best way to explain it. We will get the bare bones of a song, and back in 1970 we developed a musical template that we still live by today, and that's if you put a hammered organ on in five harmonies and a wah wah guitar on and distinctive lead vocal, you've got Uriah Heep on every song that comes through. So we get the bare bones of a song and we try and give that as much of a Uriah Heep treatment,
Mm-hmm.
which does involve all those things. The vocals, the dynamics is very important.
Yeah.
It's something we learned from the classics from the old days where you'd be sitting on with the headphones and the classic piece would be just drifting off like this, and suddenly the big cymbal goes bang, makes you jump. So those sort of dynamics we brought into rock and roll, if you like, way back in the 70s, even before that.
Well, you mentioned about an interesting fact, which is dynamics in rock and roll. What was your journey in terms of that idea? How did you develop, that sensibility, being a guitarist? Could you walk us through that aspect?
Yeah, sure, yeah. I mean, if you keep everything linear, it's never going anywhere. And like I used to say with some of these bands that came out with they were heavy metal, whatever you want to call them. They start here really loud and it's very impacty.
Yeah.
But if you keep that going, it gets less and less and less and less and less. The impact is going away from you. So it's very important to make music go like this, so that you keep coming back to that divine thing that gives you the chills, when it comes back into the heavy part or the loud part. So it became very obvious to us from the early days that that was something we'd always incorporate into our music.
Well, having accustomed to a lot of modernization, technological advancements, have you tried spatial audio or say Dolby Atmos for your music right now?
We we tend to try and stay away from it as much as we can. In fact, as a band, we still record in the same room,
Mm,
all of us playing together. We don't do it individually. We don't do the drum track first. We don't do any of that. We in the control room in the studio together
yeah.
as a band. And that's how we play, because then you're on one pulse. And if it speeds up a little, that's great because that's excitement. It doesn't. I used to hate producers, especially in the 80s, where they used to get choose a track that you've recorded, a backing track. And you think, well, that's really great. This is the one we're going to choose. And then the producer would put everything on the one, everything on the one, everything on the one, and all the magic that was there is taken away.
Mm,
It's just, and it's just horrible.
mm,
So when we choose a backing track, we say, well, if it's this good now, it's going to be that good later on. So don't mess with it, because it's what it is. It speaks to you now. It will speak to you forever. And I'm afraid sometimes producers overthought that, and they went for in search of perfection. Sometimes you lose the magic that was there in the first place. I
mm.
think that's basically what I'm trying to say.
Right. No, that is true. The kind of magic that happens over a live session. where things just happen in the heat of the moment, where you you know get into a dialogue, and then fix upon ideas, and yeah, that definitely is far more productive than you know lot of modern ways of recording a particular track. Yeah,
100%. And the thing is that when you're in
yeah.
the same room, you have to be on top of your game because if somebody makes a mistake, that goes across all the other mics.
Mm.
So, it gives you an extra edge too that you have to be
Yeah,
on top of your game.
right, right.
So then it becomes really exciting.
Yeah, yeah. Keeps you on tip of the toe.
It
Uh,
does.
yeah, yeah. Amazing. So at this stage in your life, you have done it all, right? Do you write more to express, to explore, or to connect? How has the why behind songwriting evolved for you personally, Mick?
I think it's just been the same. I write the same as I did back in, the late 60s. I write the same way. I pick up the guitar. I usually find I just noodle away, and then something. Oh, that's interesting, and I'll record it, and then leave it, and I'll do a few more, record it. I do that every day anyway, whether that be that or a lyric or something. I would just kind of get a pot of ideas, if you like, a box
Mm.
of ideas to be a box of ideas. Um, yeah, and then what I usually do, and this is very serious, I used to call it washing up level, and that is that if I was doing the washing up, I'd have the tape recorder there, and I'd press it and listen through to the ideas, just listen through, and every now and again one will really stick out, one another one stick out, and I'll make note of that, and they're the ones I would work on and develop. Now there's no need to do washing up now because we
Mm.
have dishwashers, so I get the ideas walking my dog. So I put my machine in my pocket, I
Okay.
press play, and I walk in the dog, and he's running around and all that, and I'm listening to all the ideas. And when one hits, bang, 00679, write that, I remember that. And then I'll come back home and develop them. So, I think it's just you just keep writing, you keep being creative and inventive, and then as I say, when you go through everything, there's always one or two that really pop out that cry for you to start working on them.
Mm. Mm. Well, Uriah Heep is more of a legacy act right now, uh, right? And you all are preserving that whole musical tradition, uh, being the torchbearers of you know very fine music, right? So at this juncture, right, how do you guard against self parody within a legacy act, especially when listeners come with expectations of classic Uriah Heep, right? What role does intentional reinvention play in that for you guys?
Well, we've always been a band that have always released new material every 2 years. So, I mean, we've been going, what, 55 years, and we've recorded 25 albums. So it's nearly one every 2 years. Um, so we've always evolved. We've always kept going. Um, but we're also aware as we travel around the world, because we play concerts in 65 countries.
Mm,
So as we go around the world, we kind of get a feeling for the songs that people love to hear,
mm,
like Easy Living, July Morning, and Gypsy, and Stealing maybe, and lots of European countries. Lady in Black was a very big song. So you kind of get that idea that those songs always have to be played because that's what people come to hear. And then we intersperse that with some older songs, maybe that we haven't played before,
mm.
and and some of the songs from the new album or the previous albums. We just pick one or two or three. Yeah, because to be honest, the when they sit side by side, the new songs and the old songs, they sit very well because it's a Uriah Heep song. So
Yeah.
it's Uriah Heep through and through. So we try and please people with the classic songs, but then I also say this, that our last album, Chaos and Color, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's only time. before they become classic songs too. So it's only time that gives it the classic title, if you like. So we try and mix it up, keep it fresh, but we're all very aware of certain songs that people need to hear.
Mm. No, I like that process where you kind of preserve the integrity of that blueprint that you mentioned, the first record being the template to everything that proceeds, right? That initial
Yes. Yeah.
vision coming into life and standing the test of time. That's the beauty of Uriah Heep as a band.
Well, that's a great statement, and that's used many, many times that the music
Mm.
has stood the test of time. And
Yeah,
I think that applies to many, many bands that came up in that era.
yeah.
I mean, we come up with like Black Sabbath and Deep Purple and Led Zeppelin, and all those songs still sound great. And I
Mm.
think they do because it was a very creative time. And when you signed a record deal, you signed for 6 or 7 albums. You grew with
Mm.
the label grew with you. There was no one breathing down your neck saying, "You got to sound like this, you got to look like this." We were just making our own um, image in every possible way.
Mm.
And we came up in the 60s. Now, the late 60s was kind of everyone nice haircuts, wore suits, do little dance moves, little combos behind. Great songs, I might add. Some of them were masterpieces in 3 minutes. They were just absolute masterpieces. But then we came along and we were quite rebellious and we shook the world up a bit. We had equipment behind us that was like our own skyline. It was huge, loud. Wanted long hair. We had a different style of bell bottoms and ice stack shoes, and it was old fashioned thing went with it. And it was just a very, very creative time. And I think because of that and the fact that bands did record together in the studio at the same time, that a lot of great music came out of that time that has, as you said, rightfully so, stood the test of time.
Mm.
Because people still like hearing it in the live arena as well as in their homes or their cars or wherever they want to hear their music.
Totally. Well, let's talk about some statements that you've made in the past, right? So
Okay.
you've said that scales of a fish, which is a profound remark in your own inimitable style, right? So looking back, do you feel this philosophy was a rejection of academia or an embrace of something more primal and human in music?
Sorry, what was the comment in the
You
first
said that
instance?
scales of a fish.
Oh, scales of a fish. Yes.
So I want to
That's
know
cool.
from this standpoint, right? Was it a rejection of academia or an embrace of something more primal and human within music?
Yeah, there's two issues here. One is scales of fish, and one is that sheet music is tadpoles on an A4.
Mm.
Because when I was learning guitar,
Yeah.
they put sheet music in front of me, and I was saying, "Well, I don't want to play that. I'm playing somebody else's music. I want to write my own." So that was my headspace.
Mm.
And with scales, I felt that I saw a lot of people learning all the scales, but they had nothing to say other than what was in that scale,
Mm.
and so I kind of thought, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just use my ears. And I find something that really resonates with me. I hope it does with other people. So I didn't go down that technical route of sitting there for hours with scales and things like that. I just played until something really excited me and then worked with it. So I didn't really go down that route. Plus, I've got quite a small hand for some of those
Mm.
spreads of scale. So when I did do them, rather than play them as single notes like people could with a big hand, like normally the little finger would be here, right? So I used to roll it,
Mm.
and I rolled it all together, and then it kind of gave me my own sound. So I kept with that, and then kept the mindset of using my ears instead of being tied to something.
Mm.
Because I think you spend a lot of time doing that and going nowhere.
Mm.
It's the same messages. You can spend hours in the rehearsal room, but it's when you get on stage, then it all starts to work. and click. You know, you can spend too much in the time in the rehearsal room, but when you your first show, then all the good bits, bad bits, and everything else are right there in front of your face. You know, to work with, and you know, because you can over rehearse.
Are you ever too hard on yourself for the bad bits on stage?
For myself, I really look at it like this. I said, I am my only competition.
Mm,
I'm not in competition with anyone else. I don't want to play like anyone else. I want to try and be better than anyone else. I can only be as good as I can be within
sure,
what I do. And that's it. I don't go down that road.
makes sense. That's a good approach, I must say.
Thank you.
A lot of early albums like Demons and Wizards had ambitious, often mystical narratives associated with it, right? So, in recent works like Chaos and Color, how has your approach to conceptual cohesion evolved? Are you still telling stories or exploring states of being?
I mean, when you're writing songs, you're trying to write something that connects with many people,
Mm,
and you try and use subjects that you think that will connect. Because, you know, a song, to be honest, should mean something to you, something
yeah.
to me, something to someone else, you know. It should be the imagination that takes you where that song should take you. So we always bear that in mind. I mean, in the Demons and Wizards, we hit on this mystical thing that really took off like a freight train. It was everybody just went with it, you know, and
Mm,
it really.
mm,
But then we got, for the first time, we got Roger Dean involved with us on the artwork, and he gave that a very mystical, magical sort of
yeah.
piece of artwork. And we put that with the music, and it was the first time that the actual audio and the imagery of the cover were intrinsically, you know, entwined,
Mm,
and and it was and it inspired many people from there on in, yeah,
okay.
which is only a good thing.
Yeah, I
If you are
agree.
inspired, it's only a good thing. I mean, people say to me, certain things about music and you know what the best things are about it and you know you say, well, look, you know, I've got a wall full of gold records. I've got loads of awards here, and I've got a record that says I sold 40 million albums and all that stuff. But you never think about that. You
Okay.
just you just it's just something that's there, and you don't even resonate with it until somebody picks it up and tells you. But the most important thing to me in music is that when I'm at a concert and somebody comes up and shakes my hand and said, "Look, I saw you at such and such concert, and you inspired me to play guitar." And that is the best feeling you could ever have. So forget all the awards. That is the feeling that really resonates with you because you've inspired someone to pick up the guitar and they've got their own band now and they're coming up to thank you. And also, many times our songs, people come up and say, look, you know, July Morning was played at a wedding and Diddle Diddle was played at a funeral even and Diddle Diddle was played here and played there. And you're thinking, wow, I mean, that's really your music touching people in the right way in deep in their soul and that is more rewarding than, as I say, all these other awards you
Accolades.
get.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
From Gypsy to Hail the Sunrise,
yes.
your riffing has always been central to the Heap identity. Has your sense of what a great riff has it changed over time? What a great riff is?
Not a great riff is always a great riff. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. In its purest form, it will always be a great riff. Um, they're harder to find because there's a lot of great riffs out there now, including ours and everything else. But you know, yeah, once you hit on a riff that again, it's got to resonate with you,
Mm.
and that's the beginning of it all. And then when you play it to other people, it resonates with them. Then you know you're onto something. But you know, a great riff will always be a great riff, and quite often they can stand on their own too. You know, it's like a great song. A great song can be played just on a little acoustic guitar, on a ukulele. A great song's a great song. You know, and then you give it to the band, and then you can have a big production on it. You can have a 40-piece orchestra with it, but in its barest form, it's still a great song.
Do you play the ukulele on occasions?
I have a ukulele, I have a mandolin,
Wow.
and occasionally I have a little fiddle about with them.
Ah,
Um, but I
nice.
don't get any further than that
Nice.
because
That's
if I'm in all honesty, to the day I die, you never master the guitar. The
mm,
guitar's got so many aspects to it that
true.
you never, 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 never really master fully. You may master certain parts of it, but certainly not this much. No.
Right. This was a point that you mentioned during the initial part of our conversation. I'd like to touch upon that a little more. In the early 70s, your sound stood apart for its harmony with the organic, with the organ textures, right? In terms of that distinctness that it had, right? Looking back, did that necessity become a signature strength that shaped your entire guitar philosophy? Did it all?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a signature, definitely,
Hmm.
definitely, and their harmonies. I mean, and if you think back,
Yeah.
in the '60s, all the harmonies were very sweet. They sang along with the chorus,
Hmm.
the boo-ahs in the back or whatever. It was all very nice and polite and sweet. And we came out, and if you listen to Gypsy, for instance,
Yeah.
I mean, they did that big block harmony, and we almost started using five-part harmony as another instrument.
Hmm.
And other people picked up on that. And then we started doing a lot, like a song like Bird of Prey, where we did step harmonies, and they started becoming trademarks for us, but also inspired other bands to explore that.
You have played in more than 65 countries, right? Has India been one of them?
Yes, I think we've been four times.
Could you talk
Yeah.
to me about your Indian experience on these four distinct occasions? What did you take away from this country? What was it like? The entire experience. Could you tell us a little more?
Well, I came away inspired, to be honest, because I just felt to me, it was like a lot of ants running around, all doing things, but being very productive.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing. And I just got the feeling that there was nothing that couldn't be achieved by the spirit of the people. So that was the first thing. Of course, the roads were another thing. I couldn't believe that there were entire families on one bike sitting there like they belonged there, as comfortable as sitting in an armchair. And I'm going, I can't believe this. I'd be going, but that was very impressive. And I remember our first show in Mumbai, which I'd just come from a concert in America,
Okay.
and it was a big festival, and it had Def Leppard, Eddie Money, Motley Crue, us, and everything. And after each band, there was a firework display, so it was
Mm-hmm.
huge.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did our first show. The next show was in Mumbai, so they asked me down to the venue to do an interview. I said, sure, sure. I went down, and there's kind of fences being put up,
Okay.
and there was like sticks with scarves on, with a
Uh-huh.
few lights on, and then they informed us that it was the only bass drum in India at the time,
Okay.
and I went, that's exciting. And then the mixing desk had it was kind of like the old BBC ones with two hands on each knob,
Right.
each
Right.
control.
Right.
And and um, and I remember the interviewer saying to me, you're an international band, and what effects do you think are you going to bring to the concert tonight? And I said to him, well, I've got to be honest, from what I can see at the moment, on and off, it's about as far as I can tell you, because there are no effects, there are no, And I said, regardless of what our contract says, it's not there. But we're the sort of band that take that as a challenge, and we went out and we played the show, and it was fantastic, and the crowd loved it, and it was a really really good feeling that we could do something under those circumstances, and it was great, it was so contrasty,
Mm-hmm.
but in a really wonderful way, yeah, and it made me feel really good.
Which year was this in?
I can't remember the 80s.
Okay.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know that we played in Bangalore,
Oh wow.
and and I know that I think it would be a drug crazed hippie by the look of him, jumped up on stage, and the police came with their little batons, to stop him,
The
and
lattes.
he bit onto our singer's back and wouldn't let go. And that singer's singing away with this guy biting his back and the police bashing him with these sticks.
My
It was like
goodness.
a comedy sketch,
Right.
you know. The thing that obviously they took him away in the end, and then Peter Golby, our singer at the time, had to go down to the hospital and have an injection because evidently I did no idea that the human bite is probably one of the worst bites you can have. Don't
Mm.
ask me why. That's what they said. But yeah, so many things happened, but my impression was a great spirit, and that spirit was just amazing and stayed with me forever, to be honest.
I'm glad. When are you coming back?
We'd love to come back anytime we're asked. Unfortunately, we can't just turn up with our equipment and start playing. But if there's a promoter out there that's very interested in the band, because the band is a great band now, we're a great live band, we'd come out any time you ask.
I'd be happy to
Yeah.
facilitate that for you.
And I'll be the first one to say, "Come on, guys," because a few of the guys haven't been out before. So,
I'll be at the airport to receive all of you. Yeah.
well, that would be fantastic, and I look
Amazing.
forward to that day. Yeah,
Amazing. Amazing. So coming back to our topic of interest, would you say that you're still chasing new musical questions with every new album, or have you found answers that now guide the way you write and play?
I think as writers, you write. You just write, and you try and find subjects that are almost universal.
Mm-hmm.
Big personal, but they could mean something to you. And I think that's the essence of it all.
Mm.
Um, so nothing's changed in our writing style, if you like, or how we approach stuff. I mean, we travel enough in the world to see so many things, and we're very
Yeah.
lucky
Yeah.
and blessed in that way. And I think, as creative writers, have your antenna out at all times. And then you take all these influences in, and then when you sit down to write something, those things come out, in a subliminal way. It's not anything you overthink. I think if you overthink things, you never quite get where you want to be.
Mm.
I think yeah, everything has to be natural.
Well, you did mention a couple of times that nothing has changed, the entire blueprint or the framework or the approach to music. But I'm also interested in knowing from this particular standpoint, how has your internal voice on the fretboard matured over so many decades? Are you now playing to say something different emotionally, or just saying it with more clarity and economy?
With you mean playing guitar?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh, well, I kind of, as I say, I think the song is king, and I play to the song. And whether it's a long solo or a short one, or whatever passage it may be, I try and incorporate the solo that stands with the
Hmm.
song
Hmm.
and not against it. Because as I've said many times, there's a lot of solos I hear that have nothing to do with the song, and it takes you somewhere where you shouldn't go. I try and be that. I try and be melodic. Um, I try to. One thing I have developed over a period of time is I like some of my vibrato to be very much like the voice vibrato.
Hmm.
So which is very, a wide vibrato, and I try sometimes to emulate the voice on the guitar
Oh,
with
lovely.
the vibrato, and I think that again that connects with people.
Mm.
'cause that's a very pleasurable thing to hear. So yeah, I try and do that, and but generally it's the same thing. Something melodic. I mean, most solos really, I feel that I can sing as
Mm.
well as play. And I think that's the sort of the essence of it all. Really, is getting that melody there that resonates with you.
Do you feel that you're an equally accomplished singer as much as you can play the guitar?
No, no. I can sing, but I only sing all the high harmonies.
Okay.
Every time we record in, this is what they say. And Mick, this is your harmony up here, up here. And they point to it because they can't sing it. Right?
Okay.
So, so we used to in the old days we used to stand around a microphone and do the harmonies all at once,
Right.
and it would always click from the control room. Mick, can you go back a bit? Mick, can you stand back a bit? Because being high, it's got to be loud. So,
Yeah.
Mick, can
Yeah.
you? They're all standing here, and I'm in another postcode singing, the blend, you know. But no, no, my singing is nowhere near my guitar playing. My guitar playing's way in front of that. Thank goodness.
Okay. How does spirituality inform your life as a musician?
How does, sorry?
How does spirituality inform your life as a musician?
I think you do consciously and unconsciously, right spiritual things. You have that spiritual feeling,
Mm.
because that's one feeling that really does touch everyone.
Okay.
So yes, I think it's very much in there, whether it's conscious or unconscious. Very much. I think it's very, I think everyone should have some spirituality in them somewhere, somehow.
Mm.
And I very much do.
Okay. Looking ahead, what still excites you about the guitar? Are there ideas, styles, or sounds you are waiting to explore in entirety?
I not really. Basically, it's the equipment I use right now are angle amplifiers, and I don't have a big pedal board. I have one wah wah, a chorus, and that's it. And
Okay.
all these people have all these pedals and things and big mountains of gear, and that's not for me. All he does is compress it all down, and you end up being a tap dancer and not playing guitar. Really, all the pedals. So I try and keep it really simple. And obviously, when you're out on the road, I don't use in-ears simply because if I lean back and a little feedback note comes in, I'm going to play with it. I'm going to use that. And it's something that will connect very much with people. Whereas if I'm just sterile in here playing like this, it doesn't work. And I like players that really dig in and you feel where they're going and what they're trying to do. And I think that comes across too. You know, I could never be a shoegazer, I call them, that just, and looking at their shoes all night. No, I have to really dig in and I think that's where where my sound comes from, as
Okay.
much as my with the audience.
Mm. Mm. Have you ever been tempted to pursue a solo career?
Yeah, many times people have asked me, but I've always been too busy with Heat because I'm the mainstay of the band
Mm.
and I own the name. It's very difficult to move away. I've got a stockpile of ideas that folky and rocky and all sorts that are on my computer over there. But one day it may happen. But we're always so busy with Heap in one way or the other
Mm.
that there's very little time to move away.
Well, what have been the inherent politics within the band?
There are no politics in the band, none
Okay.
whatsoever. I may be the spokesman, but we try and keep it pretty democratic, where
Nice.
everybody has a voice. and when that voice has been chosen, I'm the one to institute it. And I think that's the best way to be with a band, because it's no use me saying you've got to do this, you've got to do that, you've got to do that, because they don't want to do it. Then you're only going to get four-fifths of effort
Mm.
on that song or on that idea. So when all five of you are going in the same direction at the same time, that's when the power of the band becomes one. And so, yeah, there's no real politics.
That's very nice to hear. Yeah. Well, if we had to take your non-performing baton, what are you doing when you're not playing music? What do you like to do other
When I'm
than
not
music?
playing music, I'm playing music. I'm always playing music, and it never stops. Um, I'm a football fan.
Uh-huh. I was
So
about
my
to
team
ask you
is
that.
Tottenham
Tot-
Hotspur
So I
is
think
my.
we are rivals. I'm an Arsenal fan.
You're an Arsenal fan, are you? Oh, dear me.
Yeah,
No, no, it's a great rivalry, I
yeah,
love all that. I mean, London, like, we've got West Ham, Crystal Palace, Tottenham, Arsenal, there's
yeah. The
a lot
North
of
London
London,
Derby. Yeah,
yeah, North London derbies going on, yeah, and they're all very exciting all the time, But the end
yeah,
of the day is, good football's good football, and power to those that, are, if you see a good game's a good game,
yeah.
regardless of playing.
What
You've got
what?
Chelsea as well, another team, in the London pot.
Right.
So quite a lot of rivalry going on.
What do you have to say about the current state of Tottenham, the current team? What's lacking?
Well, I think we're short on about two or three players
Mm,
that I think and I think we've got enough young players coming through now.
yeah,
I think we just need a bit of experience in there to mesh with that, and I think we'll be fine. We got a new manager now, Thomas
yeah.
Frank, I think his name.
Correct, correct.
I would have preferred to keep the old one because I think he was onto something,
Hmm.
and the players loved him. And he was a very straightforward talking man, which was very unique in the football world.
Hmm.
And I would have liked to have him stayed on for a third year because the last season, we were particularly bad. When you've got every first team player out with injury and you're playing the
Yeah,
second B with young kids that are 18, 17 that haven't even played at that level before. You
right.
can't expect anything to happen.
Correct.
So I think you got a raw deal there.
Mm.
But saying that, you still won us a cup. So we got some silverware at last. It was like,
The Heung-min Son is going to take you all to glory.
well, I was very happy for Son because he's been the captain for so long
Yeah,
and been
yeah.
there and he's given his all. And he's obviously a lovely person, a really nice person. So I was very, very happy for him to actually. I think he may move on now because he's what 32 something or whatever.
Hmm.
I'm not sure he's 34. I don't know what it is, but he's up in the 30s. So I think he may move on now. But he's given his all for Tottenham, and to end it with a trophy is just it's a fairy tale come true, which is lovely.
Yeah, totally, totally. Would you like Harry Kane back in the team?
Well, he's still doing well, isn't he? I mean,
He
he's
is.
scoring goal after goal after goal.
Yeah,
I can't believe it.
yeah, yeah.
But just recently, they had I don't know who they played, but they won 10-0, and Harry didn't even get a goal.
Mm, crazy.
So that's quite amazing.
Yeah,
But he was just a special player all round, and
of course.
he kind of he kept Tottenham alive, most seasons.
Got it. In the
With his goal
interest
score.
of right, in the interest of time, I'd like to come to the last part of our agenda, which is a very quick rapid fire. You can't think too much. You got to be
Go, you go.
spontaneous as you can be with your answers, Mick. First
Okay.
question for you: what is that one song that always makes you cry?
Oh dear, I can't do that quickly. Um, I don't know. I don't think there is a song that makes me cry. I might get emotionally involved with it, but I wouldn't. There wouldn't be tears.
Okay.
So I don't really have one.
What's your favorite guilty pleasure song?
Drinking pleasure song.
No, guilty,
Oh,
guilty pleasure song.
guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
You're saying guilty pleasure? Oh, lordy, lordy. I don't know. Phil Elton John songs, I guess.
Crazy. Nice. Hypothetically, if you had to put together an all-star rock and roll band and you have the superpower of bringing the dead back to life, who would you like to be a part of this wonderful rock and roll all-star band?
Jeff Beck,
Wow.
who's my all-time favorite guitarist.
Okay.
Paul Rogers,
Uh-huh.
um, bass players, Gary Thane,
Mm-hmm.
our ex-player, a keyboard, John Lord,
Okay.
and that would be a hell of a band.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Who'd be on drums?
Drums, who would I have on drums? John Bonham,
I knew that was coming. And who'd be on who'd be singing?
Paul Rogers,
Amazing. Amazing choice. Great. What's your favorite cuisine?
was it Italian?
Nice. If you had to describe your experience being on my podcast, Stalwarts of Music, how would you describe it?
Very entertaining. Great questions, and I've really enjoyed this Zoom far more than a lot that I have done.
I'm glad. I'm glad that that means a lot coming from you. On that note, I have one last question for today. Down in the distant horizon, what would you like to be remembered as, Mick?
Remember it as
Mm-hmm.
um, I guess good guitarist, good person.
Nice.
Because I've never been one of those people that have had the ego that would take off stage. I'll have it on stage, but it's never off stage. And I just like to feel that I'm one of everyone. I'm just lucky that I can play guitar. So yeah, I think good guitar, good person
Marvelous.
be pretty good.
That's a great answer for a closure. This interview will be additionally aired on my Sunday primetime radio show on 98.3 Big FM Shillong and 92.7 Big FM Aizawl. Uh, I will be sure to share the link once this interview is out. Thank you so much, Mick, for tuning in. It's been such an
Thank you
incredible
very much. Thank you.
blessing, honor, and a privilege